This is the Lord's message that came to Zephaniah, son of Cushi, son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, during the time of Josiah, son of Amon, king of Judah. So if you remember, Josiah is one of the good kings in the southern kingdom. So he is in Judah, the southern kingdom. He is one of the good kings. He also was very young when he took and became king. So there's not very many good kings. So Zephaniah during that time is coming. But let's go look at what Zephaniah means. Mouse, do your thing. Zephaniah. So God has treasured. God has treasured is Zephaniah's name. So God has treasured. And I don't think I want to go look up all of the names of the sons. Who he's son of. But one of the reasons why they are there is to identify that you know who this person is, you know who he's related to, you know where he came from, and God called him to be a prophet. That's part of what we have going on there. All right, so this is the time of Josiah. I will destroy everything from the face of the earth, says the Lord. I will destroy people and animals. I will destroy the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea. The idolatrous images of these creatures will be destroyed along with the evil people. I will remove humanity from the face of the earth, says the Lord. I will attack Judah and all who live in Jerusalem. I will remove from this place every trace of Baal worship, as well as the very memory of pagan priests. I will remove those who worship the stars in the sky from their rooftops. Those who swear allegiance to the Lord will, while taking oaths in the name of their king, and those who turn their backs on the Lord and do not want the Lord's help or guidance. Be silent before the sovereign Lord, for the Lord's day of judgment is almost here. The Lord has prepared a sacrificial meal. He has ritually purified his guests. On the day the Lord's sacrificial meal, I will punish the princes and the king's sons and all who wear foreign-style clothing. On that day, I will punish all who leap over the threshold, who fill the house of their master with wealth taken by violence and deceit. On that day, says the Lord, a loud cry will go up from the fish gate, wailing from the city's newer district, and a loud crash from the hills. Wail, you who live in the market district, for all the merchants will disappear, and those who count money will be removed. At that time, I will search through Jerusalem with lamps. I will punish the people who are entrenched in their sin, those who think to themselves, the Lord neither remembers nor punishes. Their wealth will be stolen, their houses ruined. They will not live in the houses they have built, nor will they drink the wine from the vineyards they have planted. The Lord's great day of judgment is almost here. It is approaching very rapidly. There will be a bitter sound on the day of the Lord's judgment. At that time, warriors will cry out in battle. The day will be a day of God's anger, a day of distress and hardship, a day of devastation and ruin, a day of darkness and of gloom, a day of clouds and dark skies, a day of trumpet blast and battle cries. Judgment will fall on the fortified cities and on the high corner towers. I will bring distress on the people, and you will stumble like blind men. For you have sinned against the Lord. Their blood will be poured out like dirt. Their flesh will be scattered like manure. Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's angry judgment. The whole earth will be consumed by fiery wrath. Indeed, he will bring terrifying destruction on all who live on the earth. All right, so this is during the time of Josiah. This would seem like this is not a need to make a proclamation against the people if Josiah is there. Now, maybe, I don't know the timing of this because Josiah, son of Amon, is king. When did the proclamation come? Was it before or after Josiah's reforms? It's a good question. I don't see the timing here to tell us that, so it could have been before Josiah's reforms. It could have been after Josiah's reforms, but we are going to see that God is declaring this. So I will destroy everything from the face of the earth, says the Lord. Everything from the face of the earth. Okay, so just in case we don't know what is going to be destroyed here, what do we have in the word here? The consonantal text repeats the kal vav, gather up, retract, followed by the hifil, first person, come to an end. A similar combination appears in Jeremiah, but a textual disputed based on the LXX. Here is a literal translation. Withdrawing, I will bring to an end. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be a right way of Hebrew doing it. Yeah. The Hebrew likes to repeat words in the way it does it, which just doesn't work. Like removing, I will remove. Like the teeming things teem, the swarming things swarm. The removal of things will be removed. So removing, I will remove. That makes total sense to me. Okay, so I'm going to destroy everything from the face of the earth. So everything is going to be destroyed. Okay, very nice. I will destroy people and animals. Okay, so you are serious. So people and animals. I will destroy birds in the sky and fish in the sea. So we're getting on the face of the earth could just be the land. Also the birds of the sky. Okay, we're including it. And the fish of the sea. Why are they being included? Why are animals being included? Because the adulterous images of these creatures will be destroyed along with the evil people. So people are making images of creation, and they are worshiping creation instead of the creator. And so the things that are the images will be destroyed, but also what they are the images of will be destroyed. They are stumbling blocks before people. And so the stumbling block is going to be removed. I will remove humanity from the face of the earth. So, like, okay, doesn't sound great. Does not sound great. I will attack Judah and all who live in Jerusalem. So just in case you think that I'm just speaking about the northern kingdom or the people that don't follow God, no. This is going to be the remnant, the people who are indeed following God. They are the ones who are going to be thrust out, destroyed, all of that. You keep trying to tell people this. Yes. I will remove from this place every trace of Baal worship. Why is God doing this? Because of the worship of things that are not God. The prostitution is the way that it often describes this, of they are prostituting themselves by following after false gods. They've just identified that they are taking the creation, the created beings, and they are putting them up as idols to worship. So all of this is going to be purified. It's going to be cleansed, as well as the memory of the pagan priest. So those who worship are going to be, and the memories of the priest are going to be. I will remove those who worship the stars in the sky from the rooftop. So now we're going to get into a list of some of the practices they do. What do? They go up on the rooftop and they worship the stars of the sky. Now, don't get caught up and think they're just looking at a planet or a star and they're worshiping that. No. They believed that every single star in the sky was connected with a spiritual being, and thus to worship the stars in the sky were to worship the being that was connected with it. So this is one of the things that we don't get. You can have a biblical view that aligns with this idea that the stars in the sky, because on day 3 of creation, stars are created, and that can be a view that there is a angelic spiritual being that's connected with each of those and other elements. We get that as we build angelology going throughout all of Scripture that talks and references those things. And so thus, we can view it that way, that they are under the control and power of the spiritual realm. And when there's something moving in the sky, there is a correlation in the spiritual realm. But to worship them, we're not enlightened. We're not to do. No. And we can look to the stars, or they could, and see things happening and see it as a reflection of the spiritual realm that might tell them things. But to go to them, to the spirits and all of that, that's not what we should be doing in any capacity whatsoever. Would you include astrologists? It depends on how you're doing those things. We have the example of the Magi who are reading the stars, and from the movements of the stars are able to determine things that are happening in the world. So there is a realm at which you can, and the stars also were told to be for appointed times and seasons and those things. So you can have a connection between times and seasons. You have the new moon celebration that is telling you things. You have the sun going around the earth, or the earth going around the sun. You have the sun that marks time. You have the moon that marks time. So you can have them marking time. So those, in that regard, you know, it's legitimate. Beyond that, I would say no. So, but I don't know what current astrology actually is doing. It's more zodiacs and that kind of thing, and predicting things that are so generic. What about mythology? Depends on whose mythology you mean in regards to that. Okay, but ancient people didn't have a division there, Iceman, between the movements of, okay, and I'm also adding, which is not just astronomy, that there's a connection to the spiritual realm. Astronomy doesn't see any connection to the spiritual realm. But doing a horoscope, no, it's worthless. A horoscope means nothing. You never believed in stuff like that, only did for a college paper. Well, the thing is you read through the Psalms, the psalmist talks about the movement of stars and sky and things. Daniel talks about them. There's several places that talk about them. I'm not saying we need these for daily life. I'm saying there were people throughout time that does get mentioned in the Bible that could see these signs in the heavens and could understand the meaning of those things. And I think God could do that today. As far as mythology, some of the mythology is probably based on actual things. Like we have the scriptures talking about mighty men of old, and we have, the stories in mythology that are mighty men of old. So the constellations, whatever, was the certain place where I was born. Oh, yeah. But the Bible does talk about constellations, are mentioned in here. And also, if you go to early churches and some synagogues from the time of Jesus, they would have zodiacs on the floor as a mosaic. So identifying and reflecting the beauty of the skies is one thing. Believing that there are there are supernatural powers there that you are trying to employ, that's where you go wrong. So hope this is all making sense. I know there's some really fine distinctions there, and most people just go, it's all bad, and just throw it all out. And I'm saying God created the skies, and ancient peoples, including those in the Old Testament and New Testament, would have seen signs in the heavens as a reflection of the work that God is doing, not just going to supernatural beings. Here, what we're talking about specifically is the worship of supernatural beings as they are looking at the sky and swearing allegiance to that and taking oaths in the name of their king. So the oath is in the name of the king. The reference to their king, maybe a reference to a sarcastic pagan god, perhaps Baal, worshiping the people. So it could be that it's a sarcastic taking oaths in the name of a king. King can't deliver you. Or it could be that they're taking oaths in the name of the king because the king is the one that they're looking to, not looking to God. Admiring the skies and what God created is okay. You do that only. You never do any oaths and that stuff. Yeah, none of this is advice to go do. This is what they are doing that God is saying you should not do. Those who turn their backs on the Lord. So they are swearing allegiance to the Lord while taking oaths in the name of the king. So they're doing things that are not oh yeah, and in the name of that, okay. So another way to do that, another way to think about this is if we go to court, we usually have people put their hand on the Bible and raise their right hand and swear. If you don't believe in the Bible, you're not actually taking an oath on the Bible, okay? Just because your hand is placed there doesn't mean you're actually doing the thing. So to swear allegiance to the Lord while taking an oath in the name of their king, I'm going through the motion over here, but here's the thing I really am putting my faith and trust in. So it doesn't mean I'm not actually doing some of the things because I have no faith and trust and belief in them. For me, I have no faith and trust in a horoscope. If I ever read one, it would be for amusement. It would not be because I believe in it. So going through the motions does not necessitate that you're obedient. And for those that turn their back on the Lord and do not want the Lord's help or guidance. So what are they doing by their actions? They're turning their back on the Lord. They know and have heard and have been taught, and yet they don't want to come to the Lord. Be silent before the sovereign Lord, before the Lord of the days. Judgment is almost here. So you turned your back on God. God is not going to hear your cry. The Lord has prepared a sacrificial meal. He will ritually purify his guests. Okay, he's preparing a sacrificial meal, a sacrifice, a meal, an animal for the slaughter. He is ritual purifying his guests. On the day of the Lord's sacramental meal, I will punish the princes and the king's son. So God is preparing a meal, and punishment is going to come. So what we should have here is thinking Day of Atonement language. I think God is going to prepare it. God is going to purify. The judgment is coming. The princes are the sons and the king's sons. I don't know why they're like, I think this is just poetic. Like, you have synonyms going on. I will punish the officials, okay, and the king's son. So it could be two different groups of people, or it could be a synonym. And all who wear foreign style clothing. Was this really a problem of the clothing style that they're doing? No. This is a symbolic way of talking about their walk, their way of life. They have adopted, not only in their spiritual realm, the practices of worshiping other gods, it has carried over into what they wear. They are wearing the things that make them like the people around them because they have completely become like the people around them. This is an accusation against their entire way of life, which is following after other gods that the nations around them are worshiping, and they have adapted everything about them. So this is one way of describing that. Zack attack, tip of the cap. Okay, on that day I will punish all who leap over the threshold. Okay, why would you leap over the threshold? Probably some kind of superstition. Yet the point of the statement, all who hop over the threshold, is unclear. A ritual or superstition associated with the Philistine god Dagon may be in view. I was going to bring that up. So if you remember when they haul the Ark of the Covenant into the temple of Dagon, Dagon is the image of Dagon is destroyed. His head and his hands are cut off, and so at the threshold, so they will no longer step on the threshold. So leaping over the threshold is to make sure that you're not stepping on that place of power that God has. So you are staying out of the God's realm so that you're under the power of Dagon. It could be, or it could be another thing that happens and comes about, but it is superstition, and it is trying to avoid something that they are worried about. Who fill their masters, the house of their master with wealth, taken by violence and deceit. So violence and deceit is the way that you are benefiting and blessing and growing. You're exploiting people. On that day, a loud cry will go up from the fish gate, wailing from the city's newest district, a loud crash from the hills. Okay, if there's something on the fish gate was located on the north side, the city's newer districts. From the second era, this may refer to an area northwest of the temple where the rich lived. And a loud crash, great breaking, wailing will live in the marketplace district, for all the merchants will disappear. So all you in the marketplace district start wailing. You're not going to have any merchants, and those who count money will be removed. So all of the money changers, all of those making profit off of people, all those exploiting people, they're going to be removed. At that time, I will search through Jerusalem with lamps. I will punish people who are entrenched in their sins, those who think to themselves, the Lord neither rewards nor punishes. So in other words, God also does not give you any blessings or benefit from following after him. So why would you do it? And he's impotent. He can't actually punish us. So why would I obey if he can't punish? Where's the threat? So he is going to light lamps, go through and search the entire city for everyone. So we're starting with a couple of places. This is like the movement throughout the city. It's coming from the fish gate. It's going to move to the merchants. It's going to the rich first. So those in the rich district and those who are exploiting the people. Their wealth will be stolen and their houses will be ruined, and those who live in the houses they will not live in houses they have built, and will not drink the wine of the vineyards they have planted. Okay, this is the language that was talked about when they are going to go into the land. They are going to live in houses they did not build. They are going to drink wine they did not plant. This is a reversal. The same way that I gave you the land, I will take it away from you. You did everything that the people before you did. That's why it was taken away from them. You are going to have it taken away from you. You were to be different. You were to be set apart, and you instead have gone after those who were already judged by God. The Lord's great day of judgment is almost here, but is approaching very rapidly. There will be the sound of bitter sound on the day of the Lord's judgment. At a time, warriors will cry out in battle. I wanted to see here, the sound of the day of the Lord is bitter. Bitter one is crying out there, a warrior. Okay, what precedes to the ascension on the Masoretic texts, okay, mar, bitter, contrary to, okay, in understanding of the participle, cry out in battle, as verbal with the warrior as the subject. It takes there as a temporal sense, meaning they're at that time. It understands warrior as collective. Okay. I thought it was going to give me something on the crying out, which kind of cry out it was. Is it a battle cry or is it a cry for anguish and destruction? Didn't quite get a detail there. Could go look it up, but I'm going to keep going because we have this crescendo. That day will be the day of the Lord's anger. Anger, hardship, ruin, gloom, dark skies, trumpet blast. Those are all the things that are there. So anger, hardship, ruin, gloom, dark skies, trumpet blast, and battle cries. Seven things. So total destruction is coming on. The punishment is coming. Judgment will fall on the fortified cities and the high corner towers. I will bring distress on the people, and they will stumble like blind men, for they have sinned against the Lord. Their blood will be poured out on the dirt. Their flesh will be scattered like manure. So the sifting is coming. God is bringing it about. I have nothing. It all belongs to God. To use it to further God's people when possible. Absolutely. All right. So, I mean, look at the images here. Their blood poured on the dirt. Okay, so this is victory language, but then their flesh being scattered like manure. I mean, they're scattered everywhere, but you could have used anything but manure. Okay, God is using the language of the worthlessness of them. They're like manure. They're being scattered like it. Like you just toss it everywhere. You know, it's icky, it's yucky, it's all, like, you don't want to go step in it. I mean, I don't know if that's their image there, but that's certainly mine. The scattering of it being spread everywhere, being poured out. Is more the biblical way of describing it, but it's like it's everywhere. Their blood is poured out. Their flesh is like manure. It's just also, this could be a reference to nobody cleaning up the bodies. They're just there to decompose. It could be a reference to that. So neither their silver nor their gold will be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's angry judgment. So the wealthy, those with wealth, we had that at the beginning. Now they're being destroyed, but what they have that they've taken, they've exploited, that cannot be used to deliver them from God's anger. Like, really? God needs your silver and gold to pay him off? Not going to happen. And the whole earth will be consumed by his fiery wrath. Okay, what do we have? The whole, or land. The same word also occurred at the end of the present verse. Okay. Indeed, he will bring terrible destruction on all who live on the land. Okay, I would not be translating this as world if it could be translated as land. It is not certain where the Lord's words end and where the prophets begin. It is possible that Zephaniah begins to speak in the middle of 17 or at the beginning of 18. Note the third person referring to the Lord. So, but anyway, here, if it can be translated as land, why would I think it's the whole earth? I would think it's just destruction on Judah. It mentioned Judah in the beginning. I would think this is just pronouncement of judgment against Judah. I wouldn't jump and say that it's the whole earth if it is just supposed to be the land, because it did mention Judah earlier. I guess it's a difference of, are we thinking that this is the call against judgment of Judah? Or are we thinking that this day of the Lord is the final day of the Lord's judgment? I haven't seen anything that leads me to think this is the entire earth and the final day of the Lord's judgment. They still have Josiah as king. So to me, this would be more in line with a pronouncement of the devastation going to come on Judah for what Judah is doing and has been doing. Zephaniah 2.